Hello YouTube! Okay, so I told my philosophy class that I was going to make a YouTube video about religious experience, and I know you shouldn't take me literally like half the time, but I actually did it this time. So I put a song together that covers the entire topic, so it rambles on quite a bit, but it's probably better than sitting here listening to me talk. So I hope you enjoy it, and I'm sorry for the few little mistakes that are in there, but you should get the gist of it. So your main man you're looking at is William James, who covers mystical experiences, and his main theory, or his main quote, is the truth is in results. That is it. If you want to get that tattooed, I wouldn't advise it, but if you just want to write it down, that would probably be better. So the truth is in results, William James. Okay, cool. Right, so if you want the lyrics, just ask me in class. So if another student stumbles across this, just email me, or like do internet-y things, whatever you want to do, and yeah, thanks.
Well, the thing with religious experience is not everybody believes, and there's so many things to cover, but let's start by defining all three. Mystical is God touching us, but I don't mean the sexual kind. A numinous experience of awe and wonder isn't that far behind. The corporate experience is very special, cause crowds are harder to deceive, and because so many people see, it makes it easier to believe. Well, William James, who gave 5 principles for moving the mystical kind, though I think he might have been an alcoholic, cause they strangely seem to spell out pint. P for passive, don't look for it, God will come to you. I, ineffable, can't describe it, you don't really have a clue. And noetic gives knowledge to you, a bit like the internet. T for transient, it's temporary, it'll leave but you'll never forget. But William James wasn't finished there, so he got in another round and said there's 3 different things that prove my theory, and this is what I found. Empiricism is a clever word for using all your senses and giving us a look into another world of a reality beyond these fences. Pluralism shows us the different faiths witness similar things, and pluralism tells us the truth isn't fixed, let's just see what the result brings. So with that in mind, James stood up and said, I'm pissed and I'm going home. The truth is a result and nothing's certain, the physical and spiritual realm. So let's move on to Newman, let's feel the wonder of the holy. Just like Isaiah said in the Bible, the whole earth is full of his glory. Then Blaise Pascal, who has a really big nose, cried sweet and told her Annunciation, meaning he was changed by the presence of God, but the nose made an operation. Now here finding my favorite reindeer friend, here comes Rudolph Otto, who talks of being acted on by the holy other like his own little personal motto. He supported Kant, saying our main man God is beyond all of our senses. He said the holy other is different and beyond, which makes us a little apprehensive. But he does suggest the ideas that we get from these experiences we have come from our deepest cognitive apprehensions, nothing else after that. Schleiermacher, with this funny old name that I'm probably pronouncing wrong, agreed and said emotions run deeper than reason, it's God we start depending on. And Martin Buber, whose name I laugh at cause it sounds quite funny and rude, said an I thought relationship with God God is different than I-8 objects of news. So now we move on to visions and voices which occur in different faiths and link in with different experiences. So let's cut to the chase. Muhammad's vision of Gabriel, who gave him a prophet message to take back to the people of Mecca, thought it was quite impressive. But the vision of Saint Mother Teresa said I was only conscious of him, for neither with the eyes of the body or soul did I see anything. Now this was criticized as too profound and confused with the imagination. And in a vision, as people found, could not convince the nation. Now voices carry authority but need not actually be heard. As St. Paul described, there can be inner voices, you may not hear a word. But this wasn't the case for St. Augustine, who heard the sing-song voice of a child, who after sex and drinking took the Bible and got all religiously wild. But Mother Teresa, just like William James, had principles to test it out. Check that this was genuine, cause there was still a lot of doubt. She said, does it fit with Christian teaching, and does it leave you feeling at peace? If you answer yes to both of them, then it's real, don't panic, don't phone the police. Though some have argued there's other factors, it may not be God's will. How can we prove that it was him when schizophrenics hear voices to kill? So let's move to conversion. William James is on the drink, telling us again the truths and results. We just have to stop and think. The psychological verdict is that it's natural transformation, and a crisis may seem to speed this up, but it's really not a revelation. Edwin Starbuck, yes, like the coffee, said these things usually occur when adolescents find their identity between 15 and 24. But believers argue that even atheists see this passivity in something more, something acting upon them that leaves them feeling in awe. As for corporate experience, these things like the Toronto blessing, where people wept and did animal noises, don't really fit with scripture writing. Or Fatima in Portugal, where just 3 little kids who probably found it really scary brought crowds of people to the spot each month who all saw the Virgin Mary. Or even just worshipping in a church on every Sunday is a form of corporate experience, so just keep the skeptics at bay. So now I'm gonna start to argue, I'm not gonna call you names, but just like swimming said to religious experience, they must be treated like ordinary claims. If I used his principle of credulity, then I wouldn't trust the word of my brother. If he told me he had a religious experience, cause he always lies to my mother. But if I use his principle of testimony, then I must believe what he says, unless he misremembers or he's untrustworthy, which I found throughout my days. So what are the strengths? I hear you ask me, what quantity is one to start? Religious experience has gone through history, playing a very persuasive part, and the effects it's had has changed the lives of whole communities. It's powerful and positive, and many believe it's helped them to succeed. But I'm afraid to tell you there's weaknesses like alternative explanations, like psychology and physiology, which are strong contradictions. And Bertrand Russell, who's been very quiet, also gives his word that we can't know inside someone's head and can't confirm what they've seen or heard. So try to get through them as quick as I can so we can start to feel really smart. Psychological, please take the stand with Mr. Ludwig Feuerbach. He says God is man written in large letters, we're all up each other's arse. But Sigmund Freud says no, that's not it, we just want a father figure. It was a childhood insecurity, a bit like Schleiermacher. But criticizing Carl Gustav Jung, who said the spiritual aspect essential to develop a person, just like William James, who said the supernatural potential. The second point is physiological, and this is what scientists say. It's a neuropsychological element that goes on in our brains. They say there are two brain operators, casual and holistic. But people argue that our brains are wired to God and His logistics. Third is difficulties interpretation when there's so many religious beliefs. But some say this just means pluralistic, to put the definition in brief. Lastly is the fact that logically you cannot experience God. As Kant's already said, He's beyond our senses, so that would be very hard. But William Alston, he disagrees and says it's similar to normal perception. There are aspects that we can experience, this is not a form of deception. But C.D. Broad gives the example of Society of the Blind, where one who's cured tells the rest what he sees, but they still don't believe what he finds. So we're down to the final topic, the nature of God's revelation. We're specialists for specific person and place, and general's just the beauty of creation. But people argue that if the Bible's special, then how is the scripture revealed? Is it fact or opinion? Is it making himself known? Well, these are what the theories yield. Propositional tells us the writers were revealed to God. And Aquinas said we must believe certain truths that to other faiths might sound odd. But non-propositional tells us that it did not communicate facts. It was ineffable, and writers put it into words with the vocabulary that lacks. So can we trust the Bible? Some say yes, it's guided by God. But scientists tend to contradict it, so some people find this hard. But the Bible influenced the lives of so many for the better and greater good. The Old Testament is not as helpful in the modern world as it should.
Two seconds, someone brought me in a clip.